I just like made it like a absolute goal of mine that like, hey, if I'm gonna hit this point, like I'm gonna, sure as damn well gonna learn from it and grow from this, like become a better version of myself because of this. That's kind of been my whole thing, All
Cool.
right. Finally made it happen. Let's go.
Yeah, man. I'm Adam, and this is about you, your journey in music, and how you got to where you are now.
Awesome, bro. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. So I guess first off, born and raised, were you born in Hawaii? Is that what I saw?
Okay, so yeah, a lot of people think that. I was born in Jersey, like on the East Coast.
Okay.
Moved out to Hawaii when I was like 11 years old.
Oh,
So I went.
okay.
I grew up in Hawaii, on the East Coast though.
Okay, so born in Jersey, but you were there till 11, so you were there quite a while. I'd imagine you'd remember Jersey quite a bit.
Yeah, I know, absolutely. I mean, I
Okay.
was there for like, long enough.
Sure. Well, what was it like being in Jersey? And then tell me about the move to then Hawaii.
I mean, Jersey was cool. I was still pretty young, so I don't like, you know, grasp too much of it. I like remember like details of like visiting like my grandparents and stuff, but
Sure.
it was cool. But yeah, the Hawaii move was honestly pretty I guess you could say like leap of faith type of thing. My dad kind of works virtually now, so we were kind of able to, be a little bit flexible with where we lived, but we came out here for a vacation originally.
Hmm.
I'm actually in Hawaii right now on vacation as well. So
Oh, cool. Rad. All
yeah.
right.
So we came out here originally for a vacation, just kind of check it out. And then while we were here, my parents just kind of fell in love with the place, which is a good time. And we ended up finding a property that worked out for us. And we just kind of like, we got home back to Jersey. Our parents were like, we're moving to Hawaii. And we're like, what?
Oh, wow. Were you
Yeah,
stoked about
exactly.
that?
Um, I probably complained about it at the time. I was
Hmm.
stoked after the fact, but 11 years old, I was like, oh, I'm gonna lose all my friends. I'll never have new friends.
Right. I mean, you're what, going into probably what, sixth grade or middle school at that time?
Yeah, probably sixth, fifth grade, something like that.
Okay. So when you get to Hawaii, were you like what was it like moving there? I mean, I would imagine there's obviously not as many people as were in Jersey. And like, what part
No,
did you grow
no.
up at? Like, where did you grow up in Jersey? I
In
mean,
Jersey,
in
I grew up
yeah.
in the Flemington area. It's like kind of by the Princeton College,
Okay, cool. And then you
and
moved from there to what part of Hawaii?
to Hawaii. So I live on the north shore of Kauai, which is the island that I live on.
Yeah.
I live in a town called Kilauea, which is on the north shore, like I said. Yeah, bro, it was freaking crazy. I mean, talk about culture shock. I mean,
Right.
East Coast to Hawaii, and then now I'm based out in LA,
Okay.
which
So
is because
when you
after
no, go
growing up in
ahead.
Hawaii, going to LA was also a culture shock. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, for sure. So you get to at what point do you start becoming interested in music? Were you already in Jersey?
Um, I, I mean, I can't. I mean, obviously, I listened to music when I was younger, but I can't say like I was like into like making music yet. But
Mhm.
yeah, once I got to Kauai, kind of started getting, was like in middle school, high school. That's when I kind of started really like finding my, I guess, passion for music and kind of like making music and playing music in general. I grew up doing a lot of like musical theater.
Mhm.
Because my like first dream as a kid was like, oh, I want to be a famous actor, right?
Mhm.
And then through like the theater, we do a lot of like musicals and plays and stuff. And that was like my first kind of experience with like live singing in front of like an audience and learning a little bit about like music, you know, I guess production and a little bit music theory. Um, and then I guess that kind of like was really what like got me into like entertaining because like I always like knew I wanted to be an entertainer, but once I started like actually like, performing in front of people, like you get that the stage fright and then the rush once you're up there and then the adrenaline afterwards. Like it's incredible. So
Mhm.
um, yeah, I did a lot of that as a kid, and then in middle school through high school, I played in like different like little like punk rock bands growing up. Mostly like covers type of stuff. We wrote some songs that were pretty terrible at the time. And then
Like what type of like what punk covers are you doing?
we were do like OG like Blink-182 songs. We would cover some
Okay.
like Black Sabbath songs, like pretty basic stuff.
Okay.
And then we did a couple like more modern covers, I guess like Monkeys type of stuff. But yeah, I
But
actually
not
and I
like
used to
traditional, like I'm just curious because of I would when I think Hawaii, I think of like, traditional like Hawaiian music at all. Like were you interested in that at all? Kind of more like a
no
reggae
no
vibe or anything? Nothing like
no
that.
So that's I talk about this in a lot of my music, is that like I've always been like a scene kid, but I was
Uh-huh.
living on a obviously a tropical island. So I'd be that kid like everyone was clowning because I'm at the beach with like ripped skinny jeans on.
Dude,
And like, yeah,
I
exactly. I
was
mean, you see,
similar to you. I grew up in San Diego in California. So
yeah, that's kind of a surfer,
it's
yeah,
a surfer
vibe.
town, and a lot of guys I
Mhm.
hung out with, friends of mine, were all surfing, and I'd be at the beach with them, like in ripped jeans and all black
Exactly,
t-shirts and stuff. And they're like,
exactly. You get
"Who
it.
is this guy?" Like,
Like you
but
see how I'm dressed now. Like this is what I wore like through high school, like growing up here too. So yeah, it's a bit of like a sore thumb here, I guess you could say. But
sure.
it worked out. I mean, I made a lot of great friends and obviously have some incredible memories here. But yeah, I mean, I love Hawaii, but obviously I moved it out to LA to like really like immerse myself in the music scene.
Is that why you
Um,
moved out to LA? Was to really,
yeah, I
take a
mean,
shot at
it's
music full time?
for me, it just made sense. I mean, like like you were saying, there is a music scene in Hawaii, but it's not like the music that I necessarily make.
Right.
So I'm kind of in the alt rock, pop punk kind of world. So and there's definitely not a lot of that in Hawaii,
Hmm.
especially like on Kauai, the island I live on. There's a little bit more on Oahu, which is I actually went to a year of college over there, and they have a better music scene. But I mean, come on, it's LA. I mean, Hollywood. This
Right, right.
besides like maybe New York or Atlanta, it doesn't get like anywhere near that.
Okay. So you did move out there then to pursue music.
Yeah,
Well, what
no,
was like
absolutely.
the like were you writing music at all prior to making the jump to LA?
Oh yeah, dude. So I guess the kind of tie into the story that I was just telling you is yeah, after high school and like playing in bands, singing in like the my high school chorus and stuff, and kind of like getting more into singing and making music and learning more about music theory and how to sing and stuff. But it wasn't until actually after I graduated, I went to that first year of college on Oahu, which is Honolulu.
Hmm.
Um, and I did absolutely terrible in high school, so naturally I wasn't that into college either. But what I did fall in love with like writing and like producing music. My buddy, my roommate at the time, one of my best friends from high school, he got like a cracked DAW off the internet,
Okay.
a shitty mic, a little one of those little like Focusrite audio boxes,
Hmm.
and we just started playing around, downloading type beats off of YouTube, spitting like freestyles over a beat, and then trying to figure out how to mix stuff, just throwing like tons of reverb and delay on there. Um, at first it was like, yeah, we didn't know what we were doing, because we didn't have like traditional training per se, and
Hmm.
like I like grew up like definitely singing and performing, but not like making music, or
Right.
definitely not the production side. Obviously, like the more digital side, which is a whole nother fucking rabbit hole. Um, but yeah, I just fell in love with writing, fell in love with singing, and I started like going on YouTube, learning how to like mix and master stuff, and I got my own kind of setup. And yeah, dude, I would just skip all my classes and make music in my dorm. And I mean, looking back, this sounds obviously pretty terrible, but that's where like definitely the fire in me got like ignited, if that makes sense. And
Uh-huh.
my parents were super supportive of it. And when I decided to drop out, they kind of gave me the option. They're like, hey, listen, like, we're not just gonna like we're not gonna kick you out of the family because you dropped out of college. Like we get it, but you either got to start working like a 9 to 5 job every day and paying your dues, or
Right.
we're gonna give you like 1 year to like figure out what your passion is, like what you want to do, right? And we'll kind of support you along that journey. So I was just like, at the time, I was just like, it was kind of a no brainer. I was like, fuck it, like I can try to do this music thing. Like, why not?
Right.
If
Right.
I got like
You're
a
like, so
grace
I'm
period,
gonna go so I went out and got a 9 to 5 and I said, thanks, mom.
so yeah, I want.
I'm just
No, I mean,
kidding. Who
I've
wouldn't? I mean, yeah. Yeah, of course you would have went with the figure it out year. Or at least I would have, for sure.
yeah, I mean, listen, there's some people that don't want it. That's fine. Like, but for me, it was just like, I mean, I just rationally, I was just like, all right, I got this kind of grace period year. Obviously, I still
Mhm.
worked. Like, I worked at the same restaurant in Kauai since I was 15 till I
Oh
was
wow.
20. So yeah, so I mean, I was always working, but I wasn't like, I guess, full time. It was like a couple shifts a week, whatever.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I mean, I worked and then hustling music, just every day writing, every day learning how to mix, master, produce. And like at first, it was just me doing this stuff. Like I didn't have like anyone behind me. It was just
Hmm.
me. And then at the time, my dad was like acting as my manager or whatever. Not that there was like anybody that we even needed to talk to at the time, but
Right.
you know, calling
But
him
it
my dad
helps
is there and
having,
shit.
yeah, but having somebody else kind of advocate, but it makes it look better, obviously.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it was like, you know, he kind of gave me that backbone. And my dad's pretty skilled in like the business world, so he kind of gave me that like the knowledge on that aspect. And then I was more of the creative side. And you know, he's still super involved. I talk to him every day. And my parents are they, you know, they love the whole music thing, and
That's cool.
they're really excited where it's going. But yeah, man, at first it was just like in the basement type of stuff. Literally in this basement where I'm at right now. I'm at my family home in Hawaii. This is where like it all started.
Mm-hmm.
Just me like downloading like just downloading beats off of YouTube and then singing over them. But yeah, man, dude, I just kept at it every day. I linked up with some of my buddies from high school that played guitar really well, and one of my other friends from high school ended up like getting into like beat production. So we kind of like formed a little like group, and we were doing our thing. Um, and our kind of process was, you know, we would just record the guitar stems, record the vocals, and then my homeboy would just lay down like a, you know, a pretty simple beat,
Mm-hmm.
just so I, you know, we could keep rhythm obviously and timing. And then I ended up linking up with a really talented mix engineer on the island who also had a really cool studio like 15 minutes away from where I live. And that was kind of the guy that like really helped me like start getting my songs to sound more professional, like off the rip. And
Mm-hmm.
then yeah, I mean, we just kind of self-taught ourselves everything. Me and my dad just kind of like on YouTube, like trying to figure out like how do you release music on Spotify? Like how do you promote this crap? And at the time I had like less than 1,000 followers on Instagram. Like I was not in that world yet, you know what I'm saying? But I knew I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to do it. So it's just like, you know, kind of a learning curve. And dude, I mean, I just fucking put my head down and like, I still do. I mean, every day I'm on this, like I'm writing music, making music, trying to promote on social media, trying to grow my brand, trying to reach out to fans, reach out to the audience, you know? I mean, especially as like a indie small artist, it's like, you gotta really want this shit. There's so many other people that also really want this shit. So it's like,
Right.
they're probably already putting in their 100%. So it's like, I got to put in 150%, right? If
Mm-hmm.
I want to beat them. So, and not that it's competition, but it's like, it's just a saturated market. So it's
Right.
like, you got to stand out. And obviously coming from Hawaii was like kind of a cool aspect of being like a rock artist from Hawaii, but it was also like very limiting in the fact that like there wasn't great networking, which
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize at the time is a huge part of that industry, is like who, you know, who knows what, who knows who. Um, but yeah, I mean, so I was just like reaching out to people on Instagram, DMing fools, like, hey, let's collab, this, that, you know, trying to
Mm-hmm.
hit up producers, managers. Um, and yeah, but it really took off when, you know, we released a couple singles, and then we actually one of our family friends that we've known for a while, they actually um, like got into the film kind of stuff, and they were
Uh-huh.
filming music videos for another artist in Hawaii. And we make like different type of music. He's way more like kind of like, you know, like island blues type of stuff. I don't even
Right.
necessarily know what to call it, but you know, my stuff was a little more like grungy. That's just like,
Mm-hmm.
it's more like, I guess, classical like grunge rock type of stuff, like pop punk, whatever. But yeah, we linked up with these videographers to help me get my first music video together. You know, so our whole thing since the get-go was like, hey, listen, we might not have the funding behind us, we might not have the team behind us, we might not even have the experience behind us, but like, let's make this look as put together as possible, even if it's not, right?
Right.
So, you know, just through the relationships and, you know, a little bit of hustle, I mean, we were able to get some pretty like professionally sounding songs released, get some like real music videos together, you know, kind of orchestrate the social media pages, even though they didn't have a lot of followers, like all the, you know, all the photos were really good.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was like super planned out, like super strict on the regimen of when we were posting, when not posting, you know? So, yeah, we just kind of, you know, you got to fake it till you make it a little bit sometimes. And obviously the music's very real to me, but you know, I was like, I got to become this artist. I got to become Luke Revyn. Like, and obviously now I very much live it every day, but at the time
Mm-hmm.
I was Luke Reynolds, and now I'm, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? So
Right. Right.
you got to make that transition. So it's like, yeah, dude, I just kind of like, it just really just came together because we were just like, we wanted it so bad. And obviously I have a ton of work to do still, but from where I was literally like a year and a half, maybe not even 2 years ago, it's like literally night and day. You know,
Mm-hmm.
now I'm in like huge studios in LA with Grammy winning producers, and literally a year ago I was in my basement by myself with some of my high school buddies, miking putting a mic up to the guitar to record stems. Like we didn't even know, like I didn't even know you could fucking plug it into the MIDI. So it's like,
Oh wow.
dude, it was
Just learning so much.
Yeah, learning so much, exactly. But dude, yeah, it just came together, and then I started collabing with other artists. I ended up flying out to LA to shoot a music video and record some records out there, and that's where I met my current manager right now. And then he kind of once I met him, he like really took an interest in like the hustle, and he fucked with the vision, and he was like, hey, listen, like I'll give you guys some support, like some advice, whatever he can while we're out in Hawaii. And then we ended up developing a really good relationship with him. And once I moved up to LA, it was like, let's make this happen. So I signed to my first like official management team, and now I got like a really like solid group of people behind me, kind of helping me orchestrate everything. Obviously this marketing side, publishing, social media, music. There's a lot of different.
Right, a lot of different parts.
It's a lot of different moving parts. And at the time, I didn't know that at the time when I first started, but we kind of got our, in a sense, kind of have our shit together right now. But dude, yeah, it's super exciting. And I honestly just can't even believe I'm in a position a year in to even be talking to you about my music journey. You know what I'm saying? It's like
no, but it's awesome, man. That's so cool. So once you did you go out to shoot the video, or once you shot this video in Hawaii, like you linked up with that person who ended up living in LA? Is that kind of what took you there? Like,
yeah, no. So my manager right now,
okay,
he was working with another artist that I ended up collabing with.
Oh, got you.
And we did a song together. Yeah. So I went out there and just naturally met him through the artist I was working with. Yeah. And then, we just kind of hit it off, and, it's kind of worked out that way. It was like kind of like just, I don't even know, like a little bit of luck, a little bit of, a little bit of hustle, like I said.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it just kind of worked out, and now he's repping me full time out in LA, and we're, on our shit. Yeah, dude, it's really exciting. I'm pretty blown away, like with how fast it's moved. But I guess that's kind of how stuff is nowadays. It either happens like super fast or it doesn't happen at all.
Sure.
You could definitely see it with like stuff like TikTok and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's more like the immediate gratification thing, not like long term, sustainability, I guess you could say.
Right.
But obviously that's definitely what I'm trying to do here with the music.
Trying to shoot for, sure. With did you say your dad was helping you in the recording process, or just helping you kind of push the songs?
No, so he's not musically inclined at all.
God, he was just helping you on the business end.
He's very business savvy, very smart. But no, creatively, not nothing. I mean, he gave me, he would give my family, they would always give me feedback. They're my number one supporters, but they're also like my number one haters in a sense. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, not that they're actually hating, like obviously they support me and everything, but I'll send them demos, or I'll send them videos I'm making, and I'll be like, yo, look, what do you guys actually think? Sometimes you show that shit to your friends, they're like, oh, that's cool, bro, and it's like you don't really know what they're thinking, but
right.
Yeah, my dad and my family, they've always been straight shooters, so
I mean, you talk about some heavy subjects in your songs. Was that something hard to be like vulnerable enough to put that out there? And I know you had some struggles with drugs and alcohol, and myself included. I've also had those same struggles and having to clean up and all that stuff. So like bringing that into your music, was that hard to do? Like hard to be vulnerable like that?
Yes, definitely, dude. So like I said, I mean, when I first started making music, it was like freestyle, like SoundCloud raps, like stuff I would just like, me and my buddies were just dropping on SoundCloud, like barely a mix on there. Just talking complete nonsense, like talking about cars I've never driven and money I didn't have, money I didn't have and jewelry I didn't have. So it was like, just kind of like going with what we hear on the
other songs.
Spotify. And exactly. So, but once I like really started to like get into it, and I was like, okay, like what do I want my legacy to be music wise? And for me, it was, obviously there's a lot of like trials and tribulations that led to this. But I'm very much like a mental health advocate now. Just because, I mean, like obviously I had a great childhood growing up in Hawaii. Like I know like that's definitely like a privilege that not a lot of people have. But yeah, I mean, I've always struggled with pretty severe depression, anxiety. And then as I got older, I definitely like slipped into addiction, like drinking drugs. That's like a way to cope with that. And it was obviously when you're a young teenage guy in high school, you're not like, you don't want to be telling girls you're depressed and stuff. So it's like it kind of came out in other ways. Like I definitely had like more like anger issues growing up. I was like
Right.
more like, but now it's like, and then like after high school, I was definitely more like actually like, oh shit, like I'm pretty sad. Like I don't know what I want to do with my life. Like I
Mhm.
just like, I can't shut my brain off. I'm trapped in my head. And I talk about that stuff in my music all the time.
Right.
And, it definitely led me down some, I don't want to get too graphic here, but definitely led me down some like pretty dark avenues. And I've had some pretty, scary experiences, you could say.
Mhm.
And you can kind of read between the lines there. But yeah, dude, I definitely like kind of hit a rock bottom at a certain point. And this was like right after I graduated college, right before I made that decision to pursue music. I kind of hit like a rock bottom in a sense. And, you know, when someone told me, actually, they were like, hey, listen, like when you're at this point, there's only two places you can go. One, you end up dead or you end up in jail.
Mhm.
And in jails if you're lucky. Otherwise, you're probably, and then otherwise, it's like the only other place you got to go is up. So, what do you want with your life? And I've never been like a high achiever per se. Like, I'm not like I don't like, you get what I'm saying? But like I
Right,
always,
right.
I wanted to make something of myself. Like I've always been like, I knew I wanted to be an entertainer. I knew I wanted to make it in the sense. And but yeah, dude, I just kind of got lost in the sauce through high school and was really confused with what I wanted to do with my life after I graduated, and kind of had a little bit of an identity crisis. Like who's this like fake cool guy, high school Luke or island Luke, and then who's the real Luke, right? And then so that definitely just led me to like, like I said, a lot of trials and tribulations. But
Mhm.
once I kind of hit that rock bottom and started to clean up my act, and naturally I did my writing. I started like it kind of even happened by accident. I wasn't like sitting down like, oh, I'm gonna write about my trauma, right? It's like
Mhm.
it's just something that kind of naturally starts coming to you, and it's like I didn't even realize at the time, but it ended up being like the most healing thing for me was like, because like as a young man, every guy knows it's like, unfortunately, you are raised, or at least maybe it's starting to change now, but you are raised to like be tough. And like especially in Hawaii, it's very like old school, and a lot of the guys here are very like traditionally masculine and strong, hard workers, using their hands, out in nature. You know what I'm saying? Not that it's a
Mhm.
good or bad thing, but that's just kind of the environment I grew up in. So for me, it was like, I kind of had to crack that shell a little bit to start talking about things, letting it out, even being able to accept help, physically, mentally, whatever it was. And yeah, the music ended up being the most healing thing for me, like besides like medications or therapy, whatever. Like it was like writing it down. Like people don't realize this, but it's like you can loop this stuff in your head a million times, which I think most times is going to make it worse.
Mhm.
But you write something down on a piece of paper and you read it out loud to yourself, suddenly it's a lot more real than you thought it was, right?
Right.
So yes, and like so once I started kind of writing about some of the way I felt, some of the things I've gone through, it like really helped me kind of actually let go of those things, which I was holding on to for a while or hadn't really forgiven myself for yet. And obviously everyone's got to live with their mistakes and consequences, but I just like made it like a absolute goal of mine that like hey, if I'm gonna hit this point, like I'm gonna sure as damn well gonna learn from it and grow from this, like become a better version of myself because of this. And that's kind of been my whole thing, from there. And I really try to push that in my music, especially to other young men in my situations, young girls, whoever. But
Mhm.
I just want people to feel comfortable being themselves and feel comfortable expressing themselves and understand that it's like there's other it's like so cliche to say, but the like get helpline, like
Yeah,
like
like the phone
national
numbers. Yeah,
yeah, the
yeah.
national suicide line is like you're not alone. And it's like that's so cliche in a sense, because like someone that's really in a dark place doesn't want to hear, oh, you're not alone. But and
Mhm.
I didn't want to hear it at the time either. But it's still something I'm like, I feel like it's so necessary to just push that message, because it's like when you're in that space, you're in that dark spot, it does feel like you're the only one going through it, right? And of course, I think that's just the human condition. Like I'm only ever going to live and look through these eyes, same as you're ever going to live and look through your eyes, right?
Mhm.
So of course, when you're in that like fucking gutter of a space, it's like, you know, it's even a little, and I even realized after the fact, I was like, God, like this is almost a little bit selfish of me to like be acting this way. It's like all these people around me are trying to help me, show me love, and I'm just being an absolute fucking asshole. And
Mhm.
obviously, you know, at the time, like I said, you know, I was really like suffering from some like depression, anxiety, and then the addiction just makes it all worse. And then, you know, I just grew up with, you know, kind of a plethora of kind of issues with school and, you know, different diagnoses, ADHD, you know, dyslexia, all, you know, the whole 9 yards. I'm
Mhm.
the whole package, as you can tell. Um,
Dude, same
but
here. So it's all good.
yeah, no, but there's a lot of people like that. There's a lot of, especially young boys, I know for sure. A lot of these kids have ADHD, and they're getting thrown on Adderall at a young age, and never even really like properly diagnosed. It's just like, you know, these doctors throw these pills like these kids now, and it's like, you know, and some kids do really need it, and I don't want to like put like a damper on that, but you know, I do think there's something really special about, you know, like taking a step back, kind of breaking that barrier, cracking the shell, opening up, and you know, learning more about yourself. I think that was the biggest thing for me, was just like I didn't really know who I was. You know what I'm saying? It's like I had everyone in high school builds this persona of who they want to be, right? And then, you know, you kind of carry that into college, and it drops a little bit as you get older and kind of figure the shit out. But I guess in a very Luke fashion, I did it very like I had to do it in the most dramatic way, of course. So, you know, it came to all these very climactic experiences for me and some of my friends and family. But yeah, dude, I mean, I wanted to take all that pain, that suffering, you know, whatever it was, trauma, and I wanted to make something beautiful out of it. And when I started like really like getting serious with the music, I was like, this is my legacy. Like, you know, like I want to support people that are like in this position, or help them, you know, whatever it is. Like maybe it won't help, you know, maybe I won't fucking help anyone, but at least like I'm trying my best. Cause like I've always just been the type of person that's like, you know, I put like my friends, my family, like before my own needs. And I know, especially in the music industry, sometimes you gotta be selfish, but that's like not who I was. It wasn't how I was raised.
Mhm.
So, and I get that like, this is like me, this is my brand, I'm the artist, but it's like, I very much so want to, for me, it feels more than about myself. It feels about me, the audience, the listeners, the people I collaborate with. Like, it's like kind of like, you know, I'm trying to build something here that's bigger than just myself, if that makes sense.
No, completely.
And
It totally makes
the
sense.
mental health thing is definitely like the backbone for it.
Mhm.
Um, and you know, I I see a lot of artists kind of like hopping on the wave, and I know that sounds so weird, but I don't I don't like really like I hate the fact of like using mental health or like mental illness or whatever as like a way to like seem relatable,
Mhm.
if you get what I'm saying.
No, I hear you.
But yeah, I mean, you can just hear it in my music. Like that shit's pretty fucking raw. Like there's no like, you know, and a lot of this shit is actually true stories. Like if not most of all of it is like true
Mhm.
stories, true experiences. Um, so yeah, man, I just, you know, try to spread the word, and hopefully people resonate with the music and we can kind of connect on that level. So yeah, I mean, that's honestly the most exciting part about this for me, is that I get to like, you know, share it. Oh my God, sorry, there's like a guy outside blowing leaves. I don't know if you can hear that.
A little bit.
You
It's
can't.
all
You
good.
guys. Okay. I'm so
Yeah,
sorry.
it's all good.
Um,
No, no need to apologize.
but yeah, man. That's it. Like that's the legacy I'm trying to build.
Uh-huh.
That's the real passion there. It's like, you know, and music for me was so healing too, and was like a big part of my process of growing and becoming a better version of myself. So it's like, even if, you know, a kid in whatever halfway across the world, you know, maybe doesn't want to be a musician, but maybe the music can touch him in the way that it's touched me, and at least help him through a dark time, or get him past that one night that he's thinking about doing something terrible, or maybe, you know, stop him from taking that last drink, that last pill, whatever it is. Like, you know what, I don't know, like I can't, you know, I don't know how it's going to roll out, but I have gotten some pretty really powerful messages from some of the fans and comments and stuff, and you know, kind of reassure me that like, hey, this is like definitely like the path I want to be taking. Because I know it is very easy to hop on and be like, yo, I'm the coolest guy in the world, I got all this money, girls,
Right,
cars.
right, right.
I'm very much doing the opposite of that. In fact, most of my music's very self-deprecating,
Mhm.
um I guess you could say. But yeah, for me it's very empowering, very freeing. I think for a lot of people it is as well.
For sure, for sure. Wow. I mean, that sounds like you're doing this for obviously all the right reasons. And you get out to LA and you just would start putting songs out at that point when you get there. You had songs out prior to moving to Los Angeles. Oh, you did because you collaborated. But
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you've been in LA for a little bit, and then the most recent song you put out is called Another Day. Is that
Yes,
then,
sir.
and are you doing like singles now and then maybe a record or?
Yeah, so I haven't like officially announced this anywhere, but
Mhm.
I'm gonna roll a couple singles this year that have all obviously been produced and done in LA now. And
Mhm.
then yeah, I guess I kind of drop a little hint here, but there's definitely a project coming at the end of the year that I'm very excited about. And yeah, hopefully we definitely gonna make that happen. Well, no, definitely gonna make that happen. But yeah, man, I got some special stuff coming, but you can expect singles for the next couple months. And
Awesome.
cool, obviously lots of content, videos, music videos, social media stuff behind that. And I try my best. Like I'm by no means like a TikToker or like a like social media guy per se. Like it's just like it's not even like as relevant in Hawaii. So like I never like felt the need to be obsessed with it.
Mhm.
And obviously moving to LA, I'm like, oh wow, this is like really fucking important. Like people
Right.
people judge your worth as a person based on like your fucking followers on Instagram and do you have a blue check or not. So it's like,
That's
that's
wild.
no,
Yeah.
yeah, it sounds insane, but like that's very much how the culture is developed. It's like it's very much
Mhm.
numbers, 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 money, 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 like clout, clout, clout. And this shit sounds like a joke, but like people really live that way. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of people that live that way, especially like the major like very like pop culture cities, which is fine. It's like it comes with the territory of being a musician. Is like you got to deal with that crap. Um, but yeah, man, I try my best. Like I'm trying to get better at making content because I do know that obviously the fans love to engage and talk with you, and I'm very active. And if anyone's listening to this, you can always reach out to me on social media. I respond to absolutely everyone. Respond to all my comments. Respond to all the DMs. Even the negative ones, I'll try to say something nice back.
I like that.
No, I know someone will be like, like, yo, fuck you, bro. Your music's trash. I'll like it and like send them a heart emoji back, whatever. Like,
That's awesome.
it's just whatever, man. I mean, I just feel like, hey, if they're gonna take the time out of their day to talk to me, if nobody kid from Hawaii, then I can respond. You know what I'm saying?
That's amazing. Well, I appreciate your time today, Luke. This has been awesome. Thank you so much for hanging out with me.
Dude, it's honors all mine. Like, I'm fucking really excited to be on here and talk about this stuff with you, and I'm glad we could make it happen because I know we had some
Yeah.
scheduling issues.
Oh yeah, all good, man. Well, I guess my last question for you is if you have any advice for aspiring artists.
For aspiring artists, yes, lots of advice, lots of stuff I wish I knew when I first started. Um, I guess the first thing would definitely be, as crazy as this sounds, make sure like everything is put together. Not like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect, but so much of being, especially an artist too, like it's a little different. If you're in a band or depending on what you're doing, but if you're a solo artist and you're trying to create this whole thing around yourself, make sure you got it all together. Like I kind of naturally fell into the look of like how I dress because this is always how I've been. But get your look down, get the hairstyle down, get the social media tight, like get it all together because I didn't realize for so long how much that mattered. And then once you get that together, it adds so much to what you're doing with the music, right? And like I'm not gonna get on here and be like, make good music. I mean, hey, I can't, I don't, who am I to say someone's music is good or bad, right? But I would say definitely the advice is like make sure you're really living what you're like trying to portray because otherwise it's not believable. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like you gotta like be the artist that you're like trying to be. And for me, it was like, I might, I want to be I'm a fucking rock star. So it's like I really live that shit. You know what I'm saying? Um, so it's like, yeah, I mean, like I would say the biggest advice is like you got to immerse yourself in it. And I said in the beginning, it's like there are people out there, are hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people giving their 100% to music. And 99% of them never make it, never see the light of day, never even get more than 1,000 views, listens on a song, right? And some of these people are actually incredibly talented. But it's like it's that extra 1-2% past the 100, that extra grind, the nights you don't fucking go to sleep because you're up all night writing or up all night researching how to promote a fucking song. Like that's what like really matters. So it's like I would just say immerse yourself in this shit. If you want it, it's got to be everything for you. Like I dropped out of school, quit my job, like basically didn't have anything to my name except for my phone and some lyrics in my notes. But it's like that was like the only way I was able to make it happen. Because like otherwise, it's just life has so many distractions. If you don't, and I feel like it almost applies to anything you do.
Mm-hmm.
But I would just say for aspiring artists, it's like you got to give it your all. Like there's no other way to do it. It will never happen otherwise.
I
And
love it.
even the guys that you think blow up like that, it's not, there's always so much more to the story than that. You know what I'm saying? That in fact, that's what they want you to see.
Mm-hmm.
There's always so much more. So it's like, don't think it's luck. Don't think it's chance. It's fucking work. And I want, and I'm not trying to be some preachy guy, but it's like, I want people to know that it's like, fucking, you got to do it. You got to want it.